Shalom, Yahweh Shem Yahushua for the brothers, Yahweh Shema Alathah Shem Yahushua for the sisters. This is the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge, the High Desert Friday Scripture Breakdown class. I'm Priest Officer Shadarab, and today's title is going to be, why is World War III coming to America? All right. Why is World War III coming to America? What has America done to initiate or to deserve a third world war? Okay. So first, we're gonna go into who is the Most High? Who is the Most High? What is the Most High's characteristics? Well, one of the characteristics of the Most High is war. One of his characteristics is war. You're not going to learn this in the Christian church because the Christian church does not know the Bible. Understand? The Christian church does not know the Bible. The Christian church is not interested in you learning about the Bible. The Christian church wants to show you a song, a dog and pony show, a dance, a concert. You know, you want to go to a concert, go to a Christian church. Okay. You want to see what it's like to see man on man and woman on woman, go to the Christian church. Okay. None of those things are of the Most High. The Most High is based on certain things, following his law, statutes, and commandments, doing what is necessary, what is important in this Bible, and what he wants you to observe, what he wants you to eat. Understand? Levitical law, the laws of Leviticus. He wants you to eat certain food. He doesn't want you eating shrimp, crab, and lobster, clams, oysters, and things like that, and snails and all that nasty stuff, disgusting, dirty, unclean meat. He doesn't want you to do that. The Lord wants you to obey. The Lord is like a father, understand? So he wants you to obey his laws, statutes, and commandments, and he meant that. How many fathers out there give their sons or their daughters a command or order or a request or something and don't want them to do it? No, those fathers want their sons and daughters to do those things. Understand? There's a reason and purpose for everything. And the reason and purpose for this is unclean meat. And then also the Lord wants you to observe his holidays. His holy days. He wants you to observe these holy days, like Passover, like Purim, like Feast of Dedication, like Hanukkah. He wants you to observe the Sabbath. He wants you to do these things because these things are in this book called the Bible. The King James Version is the only version that we go by here in any of our classes, the King James Version. And in the King James Version, I'm going to go to Exodus 15:3. Exodus chapter 15 and verse 3. This is one of God's characteristics right here that you're not going, your pastor won't come out with this. He's not going to come out with this. It says, the Lord is a man of war. God is a man of war. That's one of his characteristics. That's one of the things that he does. He's a man of war. He goes to war when anyone is against him. Okay? When anyone is against him, he goes to war. Understand? And he's victorious every time. Every single last time. All right? It says here, the Lord is his name. The Lord is his name. His name is Yahweh, really, in the Hebrew. This was written in English, but in Hebrew, his name is Yahweh. Understand? That's what we teach here in the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge under the commanding General Yohanan. You understand? We teach the truth according to these scriptures, not what you're going to get the concerts and dog and pony shows in these Christian churches and all the things that they do. Understand? They're of this world. They're of the world. They're of this society. We are not. The Lord is not. Christ, Yahushua, is not. Okay? Verse 4, Pharaoh's chariots. Now, this is the Pharaoh. Who were the Hebrew Israelites enslavement under? Under the Pharaoh, under the Egyptians. The Egyptians had pharaohs. You understand? We were in bondage. Our forefathers, blacks Hispanics and Native Indians, who I mean, and who I mean only. Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians were slaves in ancient Egypt under the Pharaoh. These were the true Israelites of this world, the true Israelites of the earth, God's chosen people, understand? What did the Lord say about this? What does it say? The Pharaoh's chariots, I'm in verse 4, and his host hath he cast into the sea. To cast means to throw something. To throw something. He threw the Pharaoh and his chariots. He threw the Pharaoh's chariots and his army into the sea, the Red Sea. A lot of y'all may know the story and all that, but this is why God is a man of war. God ain't got no problem destroying you. He ain't got no problem throwing you into the middle of the sea and let those waters crash and crush your body and you drown. He ain't got a problem with that when you messing with his children. When you messing with the blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, you got them in bondage, then you come after them and try to bring them back into bondage. Lord knows what kind of bloodshed that would have been if the children of Israel would have never made it across the Red Sea and the Pharaoh's armies would have came and got them and bring them back. Lord knows what kind of suffering and bondage that would have been. It was already suffering and bondage while they were in there building these treasure houses for the Pharaoh. These treasure houses they were building were the pyramids that you see in Egypt. Understand? The children of Israel built that, okay, for the Pharaoh in hard and cruel bondage from their taskmasters who the Pharaoh put in charge of the children of Israel. All right. Hath he cast into the sea. His chosen captains also are drowned in the Red Sea. Now, does that sound like that God in your Christian church? Does that sound like what Christ would do in your Christian church? Hell no. They're more effeminate and homosexual. That is not God and that is not Christ. Who they talking about? They're white Jesus. Christ was not a white man anyway. So the Lord threw his chosen captains, the Pharaoh's chosen captains and his armies and his chariots and the Pharaoh himself into the Red Sea. Once the children of Israel got across the Red Sea, you understand? He threw them in there and he let the waters crash and the waters joined back again and crushed all of them. That's what you get for messing with the Most High Power, Yahweh. That's what you get. You understand? The Lord does this because the Lord wants us to obey him. The whole world eventually is going to obey the Lord. They're going to be keeping these Sabbath days. They're going to be keeping these high holy days. And all the days, they're not going to be eating that nasty meat no more. They're not going to be disrespecting each other, not being a brother to a brother. You understand? That's what's going to happen. Okay. I'm gonna go to let's see, verse 5. The depths have covered them. The depths of the sea has covered them. So those waves crash. You know how much pressure and power that is when water goes like that? A man has to wear a suit to go down into the sea. He has to wear a suit that decompresses him. You understand? He has to be decompressed. Compresses the pack. The depths of the sea crash together. They have pressure down there. There's pressure down there. The Lord crushed the Pharaoh's armies. Okay, in other words. All right. They sank into the bottom as a stone. They sunk into the bottom of the sea as a stone. I mean, this is what it's about. This is what it's about. This is what is written. Okay. Verse 6. Thy right hand, O Lord, is become glorious in power. His right hand has become glorious in power. He showed this to show his might as well. He showed the might to the whole face of the earth, who he was and what he could do and what he will do if you mess with his children, the children of Israel and Israel only. Thy right hand, O Lord, hath dashed in pieces the enemy. The right hand, the Lord's right hand has dashed in pieces his enemies, the enemies of Israel. Dashed them in pieces. Yeah, they was all crushed up and cut up in there. All right. That's right. Verse 7, and in the greatness of thine excellency, thou hast overthrown them that rose up against thee. He overthrew those who rose up against him. The Pharaoh was hard-necked, stiff-necked. Pharaoh didn't want to let the children of Israel go. Moses had to go in there and keep pleading with Pharaoh to let his brothers and sisters, the Israelites, go from that hard bondage. The Pharaoh didn't want to do it at first. He did it when the plagues came here. The plagues came here. The plagues have returned here. What happens in the past happens in the future. The plagues return. We got the COVID-19 and the Delta variant. You understand? And it's still plummeting the earth. It's still infecting the inhabitants of the earth. And many are dying from it. This is the plague Lord has sent. The Most High sent that. You know what I mean? Not no man with no test tube. The Lord sent it. Understand? Now, which way you want to slice it, the Lord did that. You understand? Because these plagues have returned to the earth because of what happened here in America during slavery, what happened to the blacks and Hispanics during slavery, what happened in the Trail of Tears. You understand? What happened with the treaties that they broke, what happened to all the things that they done, molested and killed our children, take our children by the feet and dash their heads upon the trees and upon the rocks. You understand? Busting their skulls during the Trail of Tears because the baby cried too hard. Those are our brothers and sisters right there. Why does America deserve World War III? Well, that's one little tiny example. And then there's this other example here. You understand? This is why America deserves World War III. Why is World War III coming to America in the first place? Because what he did to our little ones, to what he did to our Judites, who are the so-called Negroes in the transatlantic slave trade. What he did to hit the Hispanics, what he did in Hispaniola, Christopher Columbus and all the things he did. You understand? I think it was Cortez, what he did to the Hispanics. You understand? Taking out all the natural resources, robbing us, stealing, killing, and plummeting us, man. Pillaging. You understand? Taking our spoil. You understand? All the things and substance that our nation had at one time. Where is our resources at? And don't tell me it's in no goddamn EBT card or in some goddamn stimulus check. We have way more money than that accumulated and put together over these times. Natural resources that were stolen, all of the treasures that were stolen out of the Lord's temple. That was our treasures. That was the treasures. That was the Lord. You think the Lord ain't coming back for that? You must be crazy. You know what I mean? And in the greatness of thine excellency, thou hast overthrown them that rose up against thee. Thou sentest forth thy wrath. The Lord sent forth his wrath, his anger, his rage against all this wickedness going down and all these things that they're doing. All of these things. You got the Tuskegee experiments, giving brothers syphilis, experimenting and cutting women's body parts open, cutting women open and taking the fetuses and selling them and making a huge market out of that. You got all of the rapes and all the molestations that go on in the Catholic Church, that go on in the Christian church, that go on in Islam, because there's some of our brothers and sisters in Islam. You understand? And all the things that they do when our sisters come up missing on the street. You understand? These are things that they do. They slaughter us in the street. Rodney King, Ahmaud Arbery, got killed by 3 men in a pickup truck because he was jogging on the street. You understand? Jogging while black. Huh? And then you got Philando Castile slaughtered in front of his children and his wife. Right there, shot 4 times. The bullets went through his body and killed him. When he had a registered firearm, and that was his, it wasn't drawn. All right. This is what they do. Shooting the brothers in the back while they're running. You understand? Putting their knee on George Floyd's neck. You understand? Rodney King with 9 places in his skull cracked. His skull was fractured in 9 places. You understand? They wanted to kill him. He should have been dead. You understand? They slaughter us in the street. And you don't think the Lord gonna lift a finger for us? He gonna lift his whole might for us, because Christ is coming back with something like this, a sword. He's coming back for war, man. You understand? They ain't gonna get away with this scot-free over this period of time. They think it's cool right now. It ain't cool. It ain't cool. The Lord is building his army, preparing his army for Christ to take that army, his army, and to return and crack that sky with 1,000,000 black angels. Everybody's gonna be petrified, horrified to see that, amazed, shocked, and astonished to see our King, Yahushua, return from the heavens to avenge Israel, to take all these nations down, to destroy these nations. Understand? World War III, we're on the brink of World War III. The brink of World War III. Understand? Okay, so the rest of that is, thou sentest forth thy wrath, which consumed them as stubble. Consume them as stubble. Okay, that's the last part of that. Okay, now let's go and understand. Let's look in the book of Maccabees, because your Christian church ain't going into the book of Maccabees. They might have it, but they mainly act like they don't have it if they do have it, but they don't ever read it. They don't ever go into the Apocrypha. The Apocrypha is part of the King James Version. Understand? The Apocrypha is the Bible. Okay? Let me get those going. And it's important that we look at these things and understand the real facts, the truth. Give me the facts and the facts only. All right. So we're going to go to 1 Maccabees, chapter 14, and verse 9. 1 Maccabees, chapter 14, and verse 9. The ancient men, the older men in the children of Israel, these are Israelites. The ancient men sat all in the streets, consuming together, communing together, talking with each other, communicating, okay, together of good things, talking to each other about good things. You understand? This is what the ancient men of the Israelites, they all sat in the street speaking good things, okay? And the young men put on glorious and warlike apparel. The young men put on glorious and warlike apparel. They had their garments on. They had their war belts around their waist, around the paps. In the Bible, they call the waist the paps. They had their war belts on. They had their shields on. They wore the shield, understand? They had the shields. They had their crowns on, understand? And they wore warlike apparel because they were ready for war. And if you know anything about UPK, you know we're ready for war. We're ready for this war that's getting ready to come. This war is inevitable. It can't be stopped. It's like a runaway freight. Like a runaway, you take a train, well, train got cars to it, right? Each car is attached to each car. Now imagine one of them cars get broken and severed. That other car is going to go that way, and the train is going to go that way, and the other car is going to go that way. And that other car is going to pick up speed, pick up force, and a momentum. That's a runaway freight. You understand? This war is coming like that, a runaway freight, and it's going to pick up all kind of power in that movement. You understand? That's what's going to happen. That's the force of World War III. That's the force of what's coming to America, that it be destroyed, utterly destroyed, and rightly so, utterly destroyed. It needs this. Understand? It needs this for the sins and all of the atrocities, all the horrific things that they've done to us. All of what they've done to us. They have to pay. They walk around like it ain't no thing today, like they don't have to pay, that they still could disrespect you and act like they know so much about you, the transatlantic slave trade, and all what you should be feeling. You was the victim. You was the victim of slavery. You was the victim of the treaties being broke, of the Trail of Tears, and all the ills that go on in the reservations, the ills that go along in the barrios, the ills that go along in the ghetto. You was that victim. So how in the hell he gonna tell you how you should feel or what you should do? They always want to be that expert coming in and telling you that. That's a form of white supremacy. You don't realize that's a form of white supremacy. That is white supremacy. You was our oppressor. You came in and put us in chains. You did all of that. You understand? You did that. And for that, you have to pay. You have to pay for that. It's a price tag on that. You understand? There's a price tag on that. Okay. Now I'm going to go ahead to go to Deuteronomy chapter 28 and verse 48. Deuteronomy chapter 28 and verse 48. Therefore shalt thou serve thine enemies, which the Lord shall send against thee. Now he's talking about the children of Israel. We're going to serve our enemies that the Lord sent against us. He sent the oppressor against us in the transatlantic slave trade. Understand? That the Lord sent against thee in hunger and in thirst and in nakedness and in want of all things. We were hungry. We were thirsty. We were naked. We were still doing what they wanted us to do. We were still getting raped, still getting molested, still getting beat, in a lot of cases, getting killed and slaughtered. Understand? In want of all things. We needed heat. We couldn't get heat. We needed to have shelter above our heads. You understand? We couldn't get shelter. We couldn't get anything from this devil. You understand? Nothing. Okay? And in want of all things. And he, this is the Israelites, pay attention. And he shall put a yoke of iron upon thy neck until he hath destroyed thee. You understand? That's what the Lord is going to do. Put that yoke of iron on your neck until he has destroyed you. And that's what he did. He put us in chains, and that chains went around our necks also, went on our feet and ankles. All right? All of that, our hands were chained up until he hath destroyed us. That comes as our curse, because we did this a curse in Deuteronomy. Okay, let me blast it back to the beginning, to verse 15. Now I'm in Deuteronomy of 28 and 15. But it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to observe, to do all his commandments and his statutes. See, that's why his commandments and statutes are important to Israelites and Israelites only. Okay, which I command thee this day, just like a father tell you, like I told you to do. Go clean that yard and take that goddamn garbage out. I told you to do that. You understand? That's how he is. That's an example. But his example is following the laws, his laws and statutes and his commandments. Because he said, I command thee, all right, to do all his commandments and his statutes, which I command thee this day, that all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee. See, this is a curse of what happened with us, man. Verse 16, curses shall thou be in the city. We're cursed in these cities, man. You got people overdosing. Brothers and sisters is homeless. Brothers and sisters is getting oppressed by the police. Brothers and sisters ain't getting what they need, man. You know, They're not getting their basics like food, shelter, and clothing. The basic necessities of life. We're cursed in these cities. How many young men you see out there pushing a shopping cart or wearing some dirty, filthy clothes with their hair matted down? You understand? How many women you see like that? How many brothers and sisters you see out there that are already lost their mental mind? Their mental state is deteriorated. Their mental state is gone. You say, yeah, I used to know that brother. I used to know that sister. He gone. No, she gone. She just talking to herself. She talked to the moon. She talked to a garbage can. You know, he over there talking to himself, and it seemed like he's scratching all them sores on his body. You understand? This is why. Come back to these laws, statutes, and commandments, man. Come back to the Most High God. Obey him. The Lord wants you to obey. And because we're not in the obeying moment, we suffered these curses, and these curses had something to do with our oppressor. And our oppressor furthered our affliction. Our oppressor kept it because we lived up to these curses. But our oppressor went further. He continues to seek us and tear us up. He continues to do that. Okay. I'm gonna go back to 48. You could read the rest of that. Matter of fact, read all of Deuteronomy 28 from 15 to 68 if you want to know what the slave trade was about. Okay, because this is describing the slave trade. This is the transatlantic slave trade that we all know about. Okay, verse 49. The Lord shall bring a nation against thee from far, from the end of the earth, as swift as the eagle flieth. And the eagle is symbolic in this scripture because the eagle is what represents America. America has eagle on the post office symbol, on the Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines, on the dollar bill, on all the dollars, the eagle. So did ancient Rome, understand? And I think so did Germany as well. These are the Edomites, Esau's children, that the Lord sent against us. You understand? Swift as the eagle flieth, a nation whose tongue thou shalt not understand, a nation of fierce countenance, which shall not regard the person of the old, nor show favor to the young. He don't care about the young or the old. A lot of teenagers were getting beat up by the police. The police would take the girls, our little sisters, and snatch them and break their heads down on the concrete pavement and commence to pounding them in the face, beating them up before they put them in a squad car for Lord knows what. You understand? A nation of fierce countenance. It was some news a little while back where they snatched the grandmother out the car and beat her and put her down in chains. I mean, shackled her up too, sent her to jail, a grandmother. Like, what the hell was she doing? Another grandmother got snatched out of her goddamn house and beaten down because they were beating her son down. They were beating her son, and she came outside and they snatched her up and whooped her and beat her too. Put her in the squad car too. They have no regard for the old or the young. This nation right here. You understand? These are reasons why World War III is coming. These are the reasons. These are the atrocities that have taken place in this country they call America. Understand? That's why the atrocities, they are guilty. There is blood on each one of these politicians' hands. Each one of these large corporation builders or whatever on their hands. This is why we have an abnormal weather. Understand? This is why. Okay. I'm gonna see if I can go to another part of this Bible here. Understand, this is why World War II is coming, man. I mean, World War III is coming. It's a lot. World War III is coming for injustice, man. World War III is coming for straight out wickedness, craftiness, and all the things that you really don't want to see. All the things that you should not be experiencing at this time, you know. We're sitting here acting like everything is just nice and this is the way it should be. White people should look at me like I'm crazy. White folks should snatch their purses when they walk past me, because they don't know what I'm going to do. They don't know what I'm going to do when I really just want to go down the street and go cash my check and go spend and pay my bills and go and get me some food or go to my friend's house or my relative's house. But you want to clutch your purse when you walk past me like I'm just a regular common thief and criminal. And all the media that they do, that they put on about our people, all of that media that they have out there that promotes blacks, males being gangsters, pimps, and drug dealers, or just jacked up men with bad motives that beat women, womenizers, all of that. That's who they think we are. That's who they want to portray. They don't think it. They want to portray us that way. They want to make sure that the world sees that black people are bad people. Hispanic people are bad people. You know, look at what they do. When they come to this country, they indoctrinate you. Don't hang out with them. Don't become friends with them. They're wicked, evil people. You know, they do things that are sinister. They'll stab you in the back first chance they get. Well, let me tell you what our oppressor does. What he does. What does our oppressor do? What does Esau do? Esau is the white man. If you hadn't guessed that already. They hunt our steps. This is Lamentations verse 4 and 18. They hunt our steps. They hunt our steps. You know, like game wardens and stuff. You know, hunting deer, hunting moose, hunting caribou, hunting bears, hunting lions, hunting leopards, hunting cougars, you know, hunting beavers and all that stuff, hunting coons and all that stuff. That's how they hunt us. They see us as prey, as game, fair game. That's what they see us as. They hunt our steps, that we cannot go in our streets. We can't even go on the streets. They hunt us so bad we can't even go in the streets. They always hunted us from really damn near the beginning of time. That we cannot go in our streets. Our end is near. Our days are fulfilled. For our end is come. See, our end is come. Our day is near. That's it. Because they're going to shoot me in the back. They're going to shoot me 17 times. They're going to put 1,000 bullets in my body. Like they described in a book called 100 Years of Lynching. They busted 1,000 caps in one man's body as he was being hung, as he was being lynched. They said his body weight was double the size, now double the amount, because of all the lead that was in it. 100? Did it really take that? That's to show you that cruel hatred that they have, man. You know, you can't tell us that you love us. And then those of us who got some sense and got some understanding and have some history, and usually in UPK, we don't believe that. We don't believe you talking about love and smiling in my face. Y'all always come over here smiling. You know, that old record called Smiling Faces sometimes pretend to be your friend. You understand? All that evil that lurks within. That's the lyrics in there. Something like that. Smiling faces coming to you, outstretched hands, coming to you crouching down, coming to you certain ways, but they really want to kill you. Okay? Verse 19, our persecutors are swifter than the eagles of heaven. There go that word eagle again. Swifter than the eagles. They pursued us upon the mountains They laid wait for us in the wilderness. See, they are ready to kill us. They are ready to pounce on us at any chance they can get. At the very least, they want to make sure that their superiority and all that is in place. They want to make sure of that. You just run around thinking that they love you, man, you're gonna get consumed with them. You may get consumed with them. Once the Lord puts his wrath out, because the Lord's wrath is not going to be turned away until his vengeance is satisfied, until his words is fulfilled. The Lord said, my words will not come back void. Lord, that means my words will not come back empty. What I said is what I said. Don't that sound like a father? What I said was what I said. I meant what I said when I said it the first time. But you didn't take heed. You didn't let my people go. Because we're in slavery in here in America. We got to work that 40 hours. They keep on and keep on and keep on adding duties to us while we're at work. Okay, now that you do this and you work this job, now you got to do this too. Okay, now you do that and you do that. Now you got to do this too, just to keep your job. You don't want to do it. You already signed. You having everybody sign an affidavit that these are your extra duties, or these are your additional duties for your position. That's slavery. Extra, giving you extra. Okay. In ancient Egypt, it happened too. It happened just like that. It happened additionally to being treated that way. Okay. So I'm gonna just go back. Another way with this is I'm gonna go at a different angle with this, because if we don't keep these jobs, so like if we don't keep these jobs and keep the things that we that we need, that we have to do at these jobs, if we don't fulfill those duties, we'll be unemployed. You're unemployed. You don't have no house. You don't have no house. You don't have no shelter. If you don't have no shelter, you're out there, you're homeless. And then where you gonna eat? Where you gonna have the food? Where you gonna have the food to sustain yourself, to keep yourself nourished, to keep yourself healthy? You don't have no 9 to 5 no more. You said you wasn't gonna do that extra work. Okay, that extra work was beneath you, which it is. You know, I'm not saying that you're wrong. You're right about getting all that extra work. You should be getting extra paid for that extra work. Okay. Now you can't eat. You don't have no shelter. And where you gonna buy your clothes? With what money? You're in slavery now in America. Try getting out the country. You got to go through a passport, this and that and the other, and the fifth. Try to get in those nice neighborhoods. They're gonna put some kind of roadblocks or some kind of stipulations where you can't even live in a good community, a safe community, a nice upstanding community. They want you to stay in the tenements and slums and low income housing and all of that. We're in slavery right here in America. Make no mistake. Now let's go back and see what the Pharaoh did to the Egyptians. I mean, to the Israelites. What did the Pharaoh do to the Hebrews? Okay, this is what the Pharaohs did to the Hebrew Israelites. Let's go to Exodus chapter 5, and verse 6. Exodus chapter 5 and verse 6. What did they do? Exodus chapter 5 and verse 6. And Pharaoh commanded the same day the taskmasters of the people and their officers, saying, ye shall no more give the people straw to make brick. They were given straw to make these bricks so that they could make these bricks to build these treasure houses, to build these pyramids for the Pharaoh. But it says right now, it says, verse 7 says, ye shall no more give the people straw to make brick, and heretofore let them go and gather straw for themselves. Say, if you want straw, you go get it. But you better keep my bricks, you better keep my courses of bricks going up so I could build these pyramids and stuff, so that I can have my treasure house. That's doubling your duties. That's putting a heavy, huge burden on you. When I worked as a case manager for a good while, close to 20 years. And they used to add duties to us almost weekly. They used to add extra duties. They expected us to meet with all our clients, to do this individual counseling. They expected us to do these groups. They expected us to write these case notes and then write the double up, backup case notes. So you doing a double with that anyway. They expected us to do all of these things and continue increasing our caseloads. My caseload was up to 33. Healthy caseload is only 12. I've had caseloads up to 33 clients that I had to see and meet on a weekly basis and set up goal plans and treatment plans with them and all these different things. You understand? And our duties just kept increasing and increasing and increasing. I remember there was some nights where me and one of my coworkers, man, we wanted to stay so good as being employees. We stayed till like 10 and 11 o'clock in the evening. I know that's ridiculous, but that's how far behind all of us were. And I don't remember any one of my coworkers ever being current and on top of their caseload, their case notes and their caseload, staying on top of this stuff. All right. So our program managers came down on us all the time. It was always our fault, And then there was a time we had to go through all the files, all the past files from years ago, and find this and find that. Ridiculous, man. That's how that Pharaoh was, increasing your duties. And that ain't just on my job, because those of you out there that are working already know you had duties that got increased. That was ridiculous. All to keep them rich, to keep them fat and greasy, to keep them ahead of you, to keep them riding them Bentleys and them Rolls Royces and them Beamers or whatever you have, and Mustangs, whatever kind of cars they had, to keep them doing that, and to keep you on the bus going to work and coming back, or on the train going to work and coming back, to keep you with the minimal amount. This is a huge plantation, man. America's a huge plantation. Not only now was it in the South, it's in the North and South, East and West, to keep you at a certain way. So the Pharaoh right here is saying, get your own damn straw. You want some straw? Get your own damn straw. We used to do that, but now you got to do it. How many times you heard that on your job? I remember that. I'm sitting up doing one of the program managers' job, taking on his client, doing his case notes so that he could stay ahead. That went on too. Definitely went on. I'm doing, not only am I bogged down with my caseload, trying to keep my notes and stuff together so that when it comes time for auditing, because when they audit, they come and check everything that you did. The auditors come in to check the program and see all the functions that they're going right. To keep mine ahead before the auditor get here, and then they say, okay, you did it. You the one that's the reason why our whole case management team is under scrutiny. But I had to do my program manager's case notes too, because he wasn't keeping his own. You know what I mean? That's not fair. That's just, man. Is it any wonder people come up with carpal tunnel syndrome and eye problems from staying at that damn computer all the time? You understand? And people come up with bad backs from out there. shoveling dirt. I done did that before too. I was a cement mason as well. I dug many ditches. Okay, and so these things give you a wear on your back. You get calcium knees from finishing concrete on them floors, always on your knees, floating and trialing and stuff like that to make that concrete smooth as glass. You understand? Yeah, I work for the union, so that's the thing. It's like, man, what about your hands getting all messed up? You know, you could die of concrete poisoning. But that's just not in concrete. It's in a lot of the trades that are manual like that, plumbing and electrical work and what is it? Plastering, bricklaying, even bricklayers too, and trades like that. All right, framing houses. You know, working in all these different industries, man, making them rich. You got to go in there. You may think that there's decent money, but they tearing your body up. They making incredible, irreachable deadlines. I used to say back at my job, that is humanly impossible to do what they asking for us to do. Humanly impossible. This is why this state, America, is going to be destroyed. All right. So it said, get that straw. Okay. And let's go to chapter 5, Exodus chapter 5, verse 8. And the tale of the bricks which they did make heretofore, you shall lay upon them. You shall not diminish, which means you shall not get behind. You gonna keep making those bricks. Them bricks gonna go up course by course. It won't diminish just because I told you to go get some straw. You better keep my work going. And that's how each and every agency is in America today. Each and every business in that corporate world is, and even in the nonprofit. Okay. Ye shall not diminish aught thereof. See, you shall not stop laying them bricks and making sure that mortar is between them bricks and that slime is between them bricks. It will not diminish thereof, for they be idle. Therefore they cry, saying, let us go and sacrifice to our God. See, the children of Israel wanted to go sacrifice to their God. They knew they were getting tore up over there. Moses saw it firsthand. How the Egyptians and the Pharaohs were treating the Hebrew Israelites. Okay. Verse 9, let there more work be laid upon men. Right there it is. Let there more work be laid upon the men, that they may labor therein, and let them not regard vain words. Don't even talk. Keep working. I don't want to hear no idle conversation. No laughing and all. Work. That's horrible. Verse 10, and the taskmasters of the people went out, and their officers, and they spake to the people, saying, thus saith Pharaoh, I will not give you straw. Go ye, get you straw. This is verse 11. Go ye, get you straw where you can find it. Yet not aught your work shall be diminished. See, your work can't go down. Go get some straw, but that work better not go down. You might have to stay after work or something, you know. Verse 12. So the people were scattered abroad throughout the land of Egypt to gather stubble instead of straw. They couldn't even gather the regular straw. They were gathering stubble. You know, whatever they could find out there to keep that mortar together, whatever weeds were out there, whatever they could find. See, verse 13, and the taskmasters hastened them, saying, fulfill your works, your daily task, as when there was straw. See, do the same thing as if there was straw. Fulfill it, keep going. They were pushing them. And the officers of the children of Israel, which Pharaoh's taskmasters set over them, were beaten and demanded. See, beaten and demanded. Same thing happened in the slave trade, right? Same thing happened during the Trail of Tears, right? Same thing happened on those lands of Hispaniola and them lands in South America, right? Same thing. Our colonizers, our oppressors, those devils did that to our people, the 12 tribes of Israel. If you Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian, this is what you went through. And this is what you continue to go through, because the slaveries went from Egypt to Assyria. Even though we got out of Egypt, we still became slaves for the Assyrians. We became slaves for the Greeks. We became slaves for the Babylonians. We became slaves for the Romans. Now we're slaves in America. You understand? We never stopped being slaves because the Lord meant what he said. God is a man of war. This is all the end. World War III is going to be ushered in here. Okay? Wherefore, have ye not fulfilled your task in making brick, both yesterday and today, as heretofore? Verse 15. Then the officers of the children of Israel came and cried unto Pharaoh, saying, Wherefore dealest thou thus with thy servants? Verse 16. There is no straw given unto thy servants. And they say to us, Make brick. And behold, thy servants are beaten, but the fault is in thine own people. See, that's what the officers of the children of Israel were saying. And the leaders, they knew they were being oppressed. Verse 17, and this is the kind of mercy that you get. This is what, put it this way, this is the response. I'm not going to use the word mercy because it isn't no mercy from our slave masters, our oppressors. You know, Esau. There's no mercy in Esau. There's no justice for our people in Esau. Verse 17. But said he, ye are idle, which means you lazy. Ye are idle. Therefore, ye say, let us go and do sacrifice to the Lord. Verse 18. Go therefore now and work, for there shall no straw be given to you, yet shall ye deliver the tale of bricks. See, you're going to make those courses. The tails are courses of bricks. You know, anybody in bricklaying knows that when you put it down, what it used to be called that, I don't know about now. It's really called a course. Each layer of bricks is a course. So these are the tails. They talk about the tail of bricks. Okay. Now, let's go to the book of Zechariah. Let's go to Zechariah chapter 14 and verse 12. Zechariah chapter 14 and verse 12. See, because this is just incredible how all these things are happening, and we're not recognizing and understanding where it's coming from. We think everything's changed because it's 2021. That you look at all the actions between us, the racial actions between one another, and you see that we haven't even left civil rights and the Jim Crow laws, the pig laws, and all that. We haven't left none of that. Zechariah chapter 14 and verse 12. And this shall be the plague wherewith the Lord shall smite all the people that have fought against Jerusalem. That's why you have the COVID-19 now. Okay. That's why you have the Delta variant right now. That's why they still stumbling and making mistakes and errors in the protection of the people. And a lot of the people getting killed are dying from these infections and these diseases. Their flesh shall consume away while they stand upon their feet. The flesh shall consume away as you stand on your feet. So while you're standing, your flesh is going to melt to the ground. See, that happened before in history. Okay, it's going to happen soon again. And their eyes shall consume away in their holes. The eyes are going to melt. Your eyes are going to melt. All right, in the holes of your skull. And their tongue shall consume away in their mouth. Your tongue is going to melt in your mouth too. These are the characteristics of the hydrogen bomb, the atom bomb, the nuclear warfare warheads that are shot out there. That's what it does. When radiation hits the human body, your flesh shall melt on your body while you stand. Your eyes will melt in the sockets of your brain, of your head. Your tongue will melt in your mouth. This is what happens during thermonuclear destruction. You can look it up and you can see what does radiation do to the body. What would a nuclear explosion do to a city that's populated, that's heavily populated? What will that nuclear bomb do? Well, if you was around like I was, I know a lot of people are young and stuff, but they had the commercials about Hiroshima and Nagasaki. That's where the hydrogen bomb was exploded. America dropped that bomb on Japan. When America dropped that bomb on Japan, they showed a little clip of the people running through the street. And while they were running, their feet the flesh was falling off of their feet and their bodies. They showed it on TV. Some of you can remember, that's around my age, can remember that commercial during Hiroshima and Nagasaki when America dropped the hydrogen bomb. See, that's coming to America in World War III. What America put out, America's going to get. That what ye sow, ye shall reap. That what ye sow, ye shall reap. You understand? You rep blood, thermonuclear destruction. See, that's the true lake of fire that's coming to America. They say that they'll be cast into the lake of fire. You're going to be cast into thermonuclear destruction. The bomb is coming this way. Those bombs are coming this way. What happened in the news? You got the Taliban back in control of Afghanistan. Afghanistan's government was destroyed. Afghanistan's government was overthrown in a day or two. Now it's all kind of mayhem going through there, all kind of affliction, all kind of terrible things are happening to those people. And those are not Israelites. It's happening to those people because that's the Lord's judgment, man. That's the Lord's judgment. You understand? They jumping on sides of planes while the plane taking off. They're thinking they're going to get somewhere. And two of those people fell and fell to their death, hanging on to a plane, a C-130, while it was leaving Afghanistan and taking all the people that they could save to get away from the Taliban. You understand? That's what's going on. Well, that's coming to America, man. But now that they're in control, all types of things can happen with that. War is imminent. War is inevitable for America. War is coming to America, and it should rightly so come to America. And I explained the reasons earlier. Understand? America's done some dastardly deeds to our people. America's got its way through bloodshed. Okay. I'm going to go to the book of Habakkuk, the book of Habakkuk. Salakia. I'm gonna go to Habakkuk 2 and 12. Salakia. Habakkuk 2 and verse 12. In the book of Habakkuk, it says right here, woe to him that buildeth a town with blood. How much blood do you think the slaves, how much blood of the slaves was shed? How much blood did the slaves have to give up to build America, let alone to get over here from Africa? How much blood happened on the transatlantic slave trade? How much blood happened in the Trail of Tears? Woe to him that buildeth a town with blood and establish a city by iniquity. Establishing that city by iniquity. You broke all the treaties with the real indigenous people of America. That's your iniquity, your evil. That's what you did. Then you killed them and slaughtered them. Then you gave them smallpox blankets so they could get infected with smallpox. You understand? So that our Native Indian brothers, so-called Native Indian brothers, the tribe of Gad, the true tribe of Gad, one of the true tribes of Israel, were destroyed. They developed smallpox. Let's go to Revelation. Revelation chapter 11 and verse 2. Salaki, chapter 11 and verse 14. Revelation chapter 11 and verse 14. The second woe is past. Woe means war. Woe means destruction. Woe also means war. The second woe is World War II. Okay. The second woe is past. And behold, the third woe cometh quickly. World War III is coming quickly, man. Quickly. Them nuclear bombs are coming this way quickly. You see all of these countries going into a whole lot of uproars, the uproars in the earth and the earthquakes that's happening in different places. Earthquake 7.2 in Haiti. The government of Haiti, it was I think the president or prime minister of Haiti or whatever, he was assassinated. Look over there in Cuba. What's going on in Cuba? The government, they can't stand that government over there. You understand? And by the way, Woodrow Wilson set up all these governments so that they can have communism in Cuba, you know, in all these different states. I mean, all these different countries, you know. I think the Dominican Republic as well. You can look that up. He set the stage. Woodrow Wilson. Everybody saw in the history books, Woodrow Wilson was so much of a good president. He was a hero, deemed a hero, deemed a big lie, deemed a racist, outright racist. When he got into office, he made sure that the black and white, the so-called black and white employees were separated. They were working together before he got there. He separated them. He reinforced the Jim Crow laws. He brought the Jim Crow laws back. His wife was known to have little stories that she would tell about the Negroes. It was some stories about the Negroes that was, of course, a detrimental and how would you say it? A terrible thing that she spoke about blacks. Just like nigga, get in your place and all that stuff. Okay, she used to, Woodrow Wilson's wife used to have those stories she used to say, you know, to her people. I guess they would laugh about it. And look what happened to the Negro here. Look what happened to the Negro there. This is what happened to him because he did this. This is what happened to him because he did that. This is what they did to her. You understand? And this is how we treat now. You know, she had little stories like that. I can't remember the name of it right now, but I know that Woodrow Wilson was an outright racist when he came into being the president, and they didn't like his foreign policies. You understand? America has a tendency to make people heroes who are really villains, heroes who are really savage people. They were the real savages. You understand? And try to call the children of Israel savages, I doubt it. But that's what they portrayed and put on us. You understand? So as you see, this is going to be the destruction that's coming real quick. World War III ain't wasting no time. It's a runaway freight. I'm telling you now. We've been telling you, SUBCRIBE been telling you this on the street corners since 1969, that war was coming to America, that the plagues were coming to America, that are coming back. The plagues, there was 10 plagues in Egypt. Lord knows how many plagues are going to be coming real soon. It's at our doorstep. Matter of fact, it already walked in the door. Everybody got to wear masks, don't they? Everybody got to get it vaccinated and all that. Should be vaccinated. Okay. I'm going to go to, let me go to, I think it's Judith. Should be always. Bear with me for a minute. Okay. So this is Judith in the book of Judith in the Apocrypha, chapter 5, verse 1. Then it was declared to Holofernes, the chief of the captain of the army of Assyria, that the children of Israel had prepared for war and had shut up the passages of the hill country, and had fortified all the tops of the high hills, and had laid impediments in the Champagne countries. Verse 2, wherewith he was very angry, and called all the princes of Moab. Moab is your Chinese people, okay? And the captains of Ammon, that's your Japanese people, and all the governors of the sea coast. And he said unto them, tell me now, ye sons of Canaan, who this people is. Tell me who these people are. Okay. They didn't know, the king didn't know who these people were, who the Israelites were. Okay. Tell me now who this people is. So like, tell me who this people is that dwelleth in the hill countries, and what are the cities that they inhabit, and what is the multitude of their armies, and wherein is their power and strength, and what king is set over them, or captain of their army. And verse 4, and why have they determined not to come and meet me more than all the inhabitants of the west? Then said Achior, captain of all the sons of Ammon, this is the captains of the sons of these Japanese people. He said, let my Lord know, let my Lord now hear a word from the mouth of thy servant, and I will declare unto thee the truth concerning this people, which dwelleth near thee, and inhabiteth the hill countries, and there shall no lie come out of the mouth of thy servant. Verse 6, this people are descended of the Chaldeans. Okay. They are sojourned heretofore in Mesopotamia, because they would not follow the gods of their fathers. See, Abraham, the Lord told Abraham to leave the Chaldeans. He was living in Ur. That's where he was from. The Lord told him to leave because he didn't want Abraham to worship those gods. See, they were worshiping those heathen gods, those false gods. The Lord said he is the Lord over Abraham. And Abraham is the father of the Israelites. Abraham is the father of is the father of the Israelites, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Okay. Those are our forefathers. For they left the way of their ancestors and worshiped the God of heaven. They worship Yahweh now. They left the gods of their ancestors, the God whom they knew. So they cast them out from the face of their gods, and they fled into Mesopotamia and sojourned there many days. Then their God commanded them to depart from the place where they sojourned and go into the land of Canaan, where they dwelt. And that's what happened with Moses when they went to the land of Canaan, out from Egypt, where they dwelt and were increased with gold and silver and with much cattle. But when a famine covered all the land of Canaan, they went down into Egypt. Okay. Then they went down into Egypt and sojourned there while they were nourished, and became there a great multitude, so that no one could not number their nation. Verse 11, therefore the king of Egypt rose up against them and dealt subtly with them and brought them low with laboring in brick and made them slaves. And that's what we just read in Exodus. See, Achior knew the history of the Israelites. He knew what happened with them. Okay, so he's telling the king everything now, because they planning to go to war against the Israelites. Okay. Verse 12, then they cried unto their God, and he smote all the land of Egypt with incurable plagues. Okay. So the Egyptians, and know this, that America is modern day Egypt. That's why we have the COVID. That's why the plagues are coming back. That's why these things are happening in the earth, these uproars and everything. Because America's modern day Egypt. Look on the back of your dollar bill. You have those brick laid pyramids in the back of your dollar bills. Look at the landscape plan of Washington, D.C. Look at how the houses were made, just like ancient Egypt. All the courthouses with those pillars in the front. Those pillars didn't come from our oppressor. Those pillars came from Egypt. That's the same style that you have in Egyptian structures and buildings. They have pillars on in the front of them. Okay. Incurable plagues. So the Egypt cast them out of their sight because they couldn't bear all those plagues that happened. That's why they let them go in the first place. And God dried the Red Sea before them and brought them into Mount Sinai. It's like you see it, into Mount Sinai and Kadesh Barnea, and cast forth all that dwelt in the wilderness. Verse 15. So they dwelt in the land of the Amorites. Those are Africans. And they destroyed by their strength all of them of Heshbon, passing over Jordan. They possessed all the hill country. And they cast forth before them the Canaanite, the Perizzite, the Jebusite, and the Shechemite, and all the Girgashites. See, all them Africans, all them African tribes. Okay. And they dwelt in that country many days. And whilst they sinned not, pay attention, why they did not sin, why they sinned not before their God, they prospered. See, when Israelites don't sin, they prosper, because the Lord said that should be so, that they should prosper because they were obedient. Okay. Because the Lord hath dealt, because the God that hateth iniquity was with them, because God was with them. He hated that. The God that hateth iniquity was with them, Yahweh. Okay. But when they departed from the way which he appointed them, they were destroyed in many battles, very sore, and were led captives into a land that was not theirs. Sound familiar? That's your transatlantic slave trade. That's your captivity in Assyria. That's your captivity in Babylon. That's your captivity in Greece. That's your captivity in Rome. That's your captivity now in America, because you walked away from the Lord's statutes and commandments. Okay. And were led captive, which means they were led slaves, into a land that was not theirs. And the temple of their God was cast to the ground, and their cities were taken by the enemies. That's why we don't know where we come from or who we are. That's why the only way you're going to find out is through the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge under the command of General Yohanan. That's how you're going to find out who you are and your customs. And you're going to learn to speak this Hebrew and read and write it as well. Okay. Verse 19, but now are they returned to their God and are come up from the places where they were scattered and have possessed Jerusalem, where their sanctuary is, and are seated in the hill country, for it was desolate. Now, therefore, my Lord and Governor, if there be any error in these people and they sin against their God, let us consider that this shall be their ruin, and let us go up and we shall overcome them. See, he understood it. He understood it, and he's telling the king, this is exactly what we should do. If we find out in any way that they left them laws, statutes, and commandments, then it's time for us to go up and overthrow them. See, that's how you get at Israel. Israel can be dealt with when they don't follow the Most High God. If they follow the Most High God, if we as Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians follow the Most High God, gather ourselves together as a nation and pray toward east, face east, and pray and keep these laws, statutes, and commandments, guess what? The Lord is going to hear it from heaven and come down and avenge us through war. You understand? Through war. You understand? That's how the Lord is going to do that. You understand? And that's what's coming in the near future. Christ is coming down with his sword. Understand? Verse 21. But if there be no iniquity in their nation, let the Lord now pass by. Salaki, let my Lord now pass by, lest their Lord defend them and their God before them, and we become a reproach before all the world. Now he know how powerful the Most High is. He know that if we don't follow these laws, statutes, and commandments, that this nation could, him and his nation could destroy us. That Achior knew that. Okay, and he's telling the king that. Verse 22. And when Achior had finished these sayings, all the people standing round about the tent murmured, and the chief of men of Holofernes and all that dwelt by the seaside and in Moab spake that he should kill him. Verse 23. For say they, we will not be afraid of the face of the children of Israel. For lo, it is a people that have no strength, no power for a strong battle. Now therefore, Lord Holofernes, we will go up, and they shall be a prey to be devoured of all thine army. And that's what's going on. We are a prey to all these nations now because of being disobedient, for not following God's laws, statutes, and commandments. We are a prey to all these nations. They come in, they run the swap meets in our neighborhoods, the chicken joints. They set up their chicken joints, they fish markets. They set up their nail shops and all that now. We're a prey for them. And they prey on our money too. They want our money only. They don't respect us. They don't hire our people in their nail shops and in their chicken joints and in their restaurants or their businesses or anything that they do. They keep their own. Why you think you got little Tokyo, little Korea, little Ethiopia? That's not little. That's not for so-called African Americans. We don't have no time for ourselves like that. That's making money and holding businesses. We don't have that. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and drop that. I'm gonna go to okay, and then I'm gonna go to First Maccabees 2 and verse 49. First Maccabees 2 and verse 49. Okay, so this is Salaki. I'm gonna pass this one up because let's go to Deuteronomy chapter 25 and verse 17. Deuteronomy chapter 25 and verse 17. Remember what Amalek did unto thee by the way when they were come forth out of Egypt. When we came out of Egypt, there was the sons of Amalek. Amalek is the son of Eliphaz, who was the son of Esau. Esau is Edom. These are the Edomites. Amalek is an Edomite, a so-called white man. Okay. Remember what Amalek did unto thee by the way when ye were come forth out of the land out of Egypt. Verse 18, how he met thee by the way and smote the hindmost of thee. He smote all of them that were in the back. Even all that were feeble behind thee. When thou was faint and weary, he feared not God, and he feared not God. See, all the feeble, all of the weak, the elderly of Egypt, all the seniors of Egypt, the ones that were weak were in the back. The disabled ones, the ones that had injuries in the back. Amalek came from behind and killed all of them when we were coming out of Egypt. That's how evil and wicked he is. Therefore it shall be when the Lord thy God have given thee rest from all thine enemies round about in the land which the Lord thy God giveth thee for an inheritance to possess it, that thou shalt blot out the remembrance of Amalek from under heaven. Thou shalt not forget it. See, the Lord is going to blot the whole, he's going to erase the whole remnant and memory of Amalek because of his deeds, because of Amalek's deeds against the children of Israel. So in the future, that's why all America is going down. Amalek is represented by your fake Jews that are out there. The fake Jews, that's Amalek. Aren't they now saying that they're from Israel when they're really not? When they became a state in 1948, they became a state. That was Israel. They were the chosen children of God. So why all the fireworks and why all the wars still happening in Israel? Why are they fighting on the streets of New York on 42nd Street, near 42nd Street? Why did the Palestinians go off against the fake Jews, the one who calls himself a Jew? Why did they have that little fight and melee and clash? Why were those missiles going back and forth for a little bit again? And it's not the first time that they were shooting at each other and blowing each other, bombing each other. It's still a war going on with them because that's not their home. That's our home. That is not their home. That's the place that they cannot claim and should not claim, but they claim it, thinking they're going to get away. They're going to get away with it. Okay. Let's go to Luke 17 and 19 and 27. Now, I said that the Lord is a man of war, that World War III is coming to America. Why should World War III come to America? Because of the atrocities that I went over. Now, let's see how Christ sees it. Let's see how Christ sees this. Okay. Luke 19 and verse 27. Now this is Christ. But those mine enemies, which would not that I should reign over them. Reign means to rule. But those, my enemies, who don't want me to rule over them, bring hither, bring them here, bring all of them, bring them here right now, and slay them before me. Slay them right here, however which way you do it. Slay them with the sword before me. Since they don't want me to rule them, kill them. That's what Christ said. Christ was not no homosexual, LGBTQ or whoever it is type of person, man on man kind of individual. Christ was an austere man, a revolutionary. He was the ultimate nigga. Understand? The ultimate nigga. Serving a nigga God named Yahweh. Christ, Yahushua in the Hebrew, said that. Let those, my enemies, who would not let me rule over them, bring them here and slay them. Understand? That's how Christ really felt about it. Understand? That's what Christ is saying. Okay? That's why Christ is returning. He's returning because all these kings of the earth, all of them, had a hand at destroying the children of Israel, the blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. And all of them don't want to give their kingdom up. So Christ's going to take it back with the sword. And them 1,000 angels that cracked that sky when he'd come back with them. When we rejoice on our beds with the 2 double-edged sword and our drink, we're going to be happy. Saying Barakatha Yahweh Yahushua in the Hebrew. Kwam Yashra'Allah. Blessed be the Lord in Christ and rise Israel. Understand? That's what we're going to be saying with our drink and our double-edged sword. And it's going to be a glorious day. That's going to be a terrible day, but a glorious day for Israelites throughout this earth who were scattered. Finally, we get a chance to be redeemed by our King, Yahushua. Finally, we break that yoke, that chain off of our necks, that yoke of iron. Finally, we break it off our necks, man, for real. Finally, we get away from our oppressor who think he everything and ain't nothing but a heathen and a dog. You understand? A monster, a beast. Finally, we get a chance to get away from him. Finally, he get his just deserts. He finally get it. Every dog has his day. He gonna have his day in World War III. He gonna have his day when Yahushua from Christ, Yahushua comes back here. He gonna have his day. World War III is coming and can't nobody stop it. Nobody. Nobody can stop this. This is inevitable. This is to come to this earth, man. Let me see this book of, we're going to go to this book, Joel, chapter 13 and verse 9. Wait, Salaki. Joel 3, 3rd chapter and verse 9. Proclaim ye this among the Gentiles. Prepare war. Wake up the mighty men. Let all the men of war draw near. He's saying, get your men. Go get your crew. Get your men. Get your men, Esau. Go get all your men. Get your mighty men. Make sure you bring the mighty ones over here, the ones that's ready to battle, that you think is ready. All right. Let all the men of war draw near. Let them come up. Verse 10. Beat your plowshares into swords and your pruning hooks into spears. Let the weak say, I am strong. Assemble yourselves, verse 11, assemble yourselves and come, all ye heathen, and gather yourselves together round about thither, round about there. Cause your mighty ones to come down, O Lord. See? So Israel, prepare yourselves too. This is for Israel too. And let the weak say, I'm strong. Verse 12, let the heathen be wakened and come up to the valley of Jehoshaphat, that valley of decision. Let them come to the valley of Jehoshaphat. For there will I sit to judge all the heathen round about. See? Verse 13, put ye in the sickle. The sickle is that it's a half moon shaped tool that you use to cut up the crop when it's ripe. When the crops are ripe, you use a sickle to cut it down so you can get the fruits, okay, in the field. Put ye in the sickle, for the harvest is ripe. You know, when it's ripe, it's ready to be eaten or ready to be plucked up. Okay. Come, get you down, for the press is full, the fats overflow, for their wickedness is great. Verse 14, multitudes in the valley of decision, for the day of the Lord is near in the valley of decision. See, in that valley. In that valley, that's where all the nations, all the heathen nations are going to go at war. They're going to go at war with the Lord. And the Lord is going to plead our cause right there. And pleading don't mean that he's pleading and saying, please stop killing the children of Israel. Please don't kill them. No, the Lord is going to plead with your blood. That's where he's going to plead, with your blood, you heathens, all of you heathens out there. Understand? And all the blacks and Hispanics and Native Indians are going to be avenged because the Lord said so. The Lord is going to plead our cause to the heathen with their blood. I mean, verse 15, the sun and the moon will be darkened, and the stars shall withdraw their shining. Verse 16, the Lord also shall roar out of Zion and utter his voice from Jerusalem, and the heavens and the earth shall shake, but the Lord will be the hope of his people and the strength of the children of Israel. See, he didn't say the strength of the children of Ammon, the strength or the children of Esau, the strength or the children of Canaan, the strength or the children of Moab or Ammon, none of them. He said the strength of the children of Israel, the children of Israel, Yashra'Allah in the Hebrew. Understand? Our strength, Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian strength, because we need that help. We're so confused and we're so tore up as a nation, and we're mourning, man. We're mourning, and the Lord heard our cries, just like he heard the cries of our ancestors in ancient Egypt when he told Moses, I heard the cry of thy people. Go forth to Moses and tell him to let my people go. It's time for them to let us go, man. Get up out of here. Get away from us, man, you devils. Get away from us, you murderers, you liars, you thieves, you homosexuals. Get out of here. Understand? Verse 17, so shall ye know that I am the Lord your God, dwelling in Zion, my holy mountain. Then shall Jerusalem be holy, and there shall no strangers pass through her any more. No more strangers coming up in there just doing what they want to do. No more strangers coming up there and pulling down the altars of the temple and putting up swine's flesh and doing all kind of wickedness and evil and taxing our people and doing all these type of things and putting us in prison and in chains and getting us strung out on drugs and all the things that ills that they do, that they have been doing since the damn near the beginning of time in this Bible, man. None of them things. Because in 2021, the same thing going on. No more of that. The Lord said so. No more of that. Because in the valley of Jehoshaphat, in the valley of decision, the Lord is going to plead our cause, the children of Israel. Yashra'Allah in the Hebrew. Understand? No more of that crap. None of that. And it shall come, verse 18, and it shall come to pass in that day that the mountains shall drop down new wine, and the hills shall flow with milk, and all the rivers of Judah shall flow with waters, and a fountain shall come forth from the house of the Lord, and shall water the valley of Shittim. Verse 19, Egypt shall be a desolation. That's America, will be a desolation. You understand? America is going to be destroyed at this last time. America is going to be destroyed during World War III. You understand? And real quick too. Because behold, the third woe cometh quickly. It comes quickly, man. All right? Egypt shall be a desolation, and Edom shall be a desolate wilderness. That's Europe. Edom is Europe, man. Will be a desolate wilderness. For the violence, look here this, the violence against the children of Judah, because they have shed innocent blood in their land. Innocent blood they shed. This is why World War III is coming, man. This is why. This world needs to be destroyed, man. We need a new government to come in. Christ's government, man. Righteous rulership. Righteous rulership where you no longer take advantage and do what you want to do against our people, man, and disrespect our people, man. No more of that. Thus saith the Lord. You understand? This ain't no game or joke. This is truth in these scriptures, man. It's truth in the word of the Lord. It's truth in this Bible. And it's truth in the ISUPK, because we follow this Bible to the letter. You understand? Verse 20, but Judah shall dwell forever, and Jerusalem from generation to generation. Verse 21, for I will cleanse their blood that I have not cleansed, for the Lord dwelleth in Zion. You understand? This is what the Lord is going to do. He's going to come, just like a father going to come get his kid. If his kid is in trouble, the Lord's going to come and get his children. You are those chosen people. Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, wake up, man. You are his people. He loves you dearly, but he ain't going to take no nonsense. And he ain't going to let nobody take advantage of you anymore. God is a man of war. Yahweh is his name. Let's go to Matthew chapter 11 and verse 12. And from the days of John the Baptist until now, the kingdom of heaven suffereth violence, and the violent take it by force. The violent take it by force. The kingdom of heaven suffereth violence, and the violent take it by force. Let's go to Revelation chapter 19 and verse 16. Revelation chapter 19 and verse 16. All right, I'm going to go to verse 11 first. Revelation chapter 19 and verse 11. And I saw heaven opened, and behold, a white horse, and he that sat upon him was called Faithful and True. And in righteousness he doth judge and make war. See that? In righteousness he does judge and make war. See, you'll never hear this in a Christian church, man. You want to continue to go to sleep, keep going to that Christian church. Verse 12, his eyes were as a flame of fire. All right. And on his head were many crowns. He had many crowns on his head. You understand? And he had a name written that no man knew but he himself. No man knew his name. Verse 13. We're in Revelation chapter 19, verse 13. I started at verse 11, but we're at verse 13 now. And he was clothed with a vesture dipped in blood. His vesture was dipped in blood. Somebody cover themselves with blood, come after you, boy, you better run. That means he really don't give a damn. He's looking for blood. He's looking for the blood of the unrighteous. He's looking for the blood of the wicked. He's looking for the blood of our oppressor. He's looking for the blood of these nations, these leaders and rulers of these nations. He's looking for the blood of man on man and woman on woman. He's looking for that blood. That's the blood he's looking for. The blood of the child molesters. He's looking for that. The blood of the rapist. He's looking for that. The unrighteous. You understand? And he was, verse 13, I'll read it again. And he was clothed with a vesture dipped in blood. And his name is called the Word of God. His name was called the Word of God. Verse 14. And the armies which were in heaven followed him upon white horses. You understand? Clothed in fine linen, white and clean. Okay? Those are armies of heaven. The armies of heaven. Verse 15. And out of his mouth goeth a sharp sword. Understand this, man. This is speaking of war. This is not speaking of no peacetime, no Christ coming back and kissing you and say you was good because you asked for repentance every time you sinned, and you sinned about 5 billion times. And you kept asking for repentance because you still kept going back to your sin, which is wrong. When you repent, you don't go back to your sins. Understand? That's true repentance. Verse 15, again. And out of his mouth goes a sharp sword, that with it he should smite the nations. See, he's going to smite the heads of all these nations, man. And he shall rule them with a rod of iron. And he treadeth the winepress of the fierceness and wrath of Almighty God. Understand? With the fierceness and wrath of the Most High God. And you can't get no more powerful than that. Manpower ain't worth nothing. I don't care how many nuclear warheads you have. I don't care how many foot soldiers you have. I don't care how many munitions, which is ammunition and explosives that you have. I don't care how many people sign any declarations or whatever, or swear into your armies. I don't care what you got going. This is the power right here. This is the only power in the universe, man. And Christ is the king that's coming back to uphold that power and that righteousness, to give forth righteous rulership. That's what's coming to America and to all the nations of the earth. Christ ain't coming back all happy. He ain't happy for some job you did or some righteousness you did that you thought you did. He know you a sinner. He know you wasn't there at Passover. He know you wasn't there at the Day of Atonement. He know you still eating pork. He know you still banging whores. He know that you over there swapping wives. He know all of that. That's why he coming back to destroy you, because you did not take heed. You're not following these laws, statutes, and commandments, man. Hypocritical Christians, man. You're in the Catholic Church too. And in Islam and everywhere else except where you're supposed to be, in the SUBCRIBE, under the commanding general Yohana. That's where you're supposed to be. You understand? And he shall rule them with a rod of iron, and he treadeth the winepress of the fierceness and wrath of Almighty God. Verse 16, and he hath on his vesture and on his thigh a name written, King of Kings and Lord of Lords. You understand? He boss head in charge, man. Not you. Not your boss. Not this corporate America. Not the government, the Democrats and Republicans. Not none of the governors of this damn society. Christ, Yahushua is. He coming to get what his, man. Give him back his portion. First Samuel chapter 8 and verse 12. First Samuel chapter 8 and verse 12. And he will appoint him captains over thousands and captains over fifties, and will set them to ear his ground and to reap his harvest and to make his instruments of war and instruments of his chariots. Understand? The Lord made captains and officers also in the ISUBCRIBE. That's why we have captains and officers in here. Rank and order. Everything is to be done decently and in order. And that's what you see at the ISUBCRIBE. Decently and in order. So let's go to Isaiah, the book of Isaiah, chapter 14 and verse 21. Isaiah chapter 14 and verse 21. Prepare slaughter for his children, for the iniquities of their fathers. Prepare slaughter for his children. Our oppressors' children are running around acting the same way our oppressors were. You understand? How many neo-Nazi people you see out there? How many skinheads you got out there? How many undercover racist people you have out there? All right. They're still there. These are the children of slave owners, of slave holders, of our oppressor. These are the children. This is what the Lord say. Prepare slaughter for his children, for the iniquity of their fathers, that they do not rise, nor possess the land, nor fill the face of the earth with cities. Verse 22. For I will rise up against them, saith the Lord of hosts, and cut off from Babylon the name and remnant and son and nephew, saith the Lord. The Lord say, prepare slaughter for his children, for the nephews, the sons. You understand? He says all that, prepare slaughter. Take them for the land, that they possess it no more, that they do not rise. Okay? That's what the Lord is saying. The Lord wants righteous rulership. He wants our oppressors to fall because of the sins that they have committed in the earth, man. He wants us to get that justice that we've been crying for. We've been crying for it. You understand? Let's go to Jeremiah 14 and verse 2. Jeremiah chapter 14 and verse 2. Jeremiah chapter 14 and verse 2. And it reads, Judah mourneth. Judah mourneth. What does it mean to mourn? You mourn the dead, don't you? Well, Judah not only mourns the dead, we don't just mourn the dead. And by the way, Judah is the so-called Negro. We mourn because of the conditions that we're in these ghettos, man, in the barrios and in the reservations. All the tribes do. But Judah mourneth, the so-called Negroes specifically at this point, the gates thereof, and the gates thereof languish. Our black leaders ain't nothing. Where the hell is Al Sharpton and all this? He didn't even attend the Ahmaud Arbery trial. He ain't been out there with Breonna Taylor and seeing that her family is comforted. Where's the rest of them? Al Sharpton, T.D. Jakes, Creflo Dollar. Where are they? Our leaders are diminished. Our leaders are nothing, man. They are black unto the ground. This is specifically speaking of Judah, the Negroes. We're black like the ground. And the cry of Jerusalem is gone up. The cry of Jerusalem is gone up. The Lord hears our cry, just like he heard it in Egypt, in ancient Egypt, when we were mourning and crying up to the Lord when the Pharaoh was taking advantage of us and beating us, using his taskmasters to beat us and doubling our work burdens, our work duties, putting burdens on us that we could not bear. Understand? The cry of Jerusalem has gone up. Understand? Not only Jerusalem, Israel. Understand? Israel. See, in this specific verse, again, I say this is speaking of the so-called Negroes, the tribe of Judah. Okay? But our cries have been, the Lord heard our cries. That's why he's going to bring all these nations to the valley of decision. That's why he's going to bring these nations to plead our case. That's why he's going to prepare slaughter and destroy all the children of the Edomites, of Esau's sons, and all the other nations that had a hand in slavery, that had that hand in slavery. That's why he's going to do that. You understand? The Lord is not playing. You understand? God is a man of war. God is his name. Let's go to Jeremiah chapter 16 and verse 16. Let's see. Jeremiah chapter 16 and verse 16. That's where we're going. Behold, I will send many fishers, saith the Lord. We're trying to get you to get into this school so that you don't be destroyed by this society, by being a partaker of this world and in this society thinking everything is cool in the game. You understand? Because the Lord does not like evil. He hates this society. Christ hates this society. Christ's vesture is dipped in blood. That's why it's dipped in blood. He hates this society for what it's done to you. You understand? That's why we're trying to get you in this school. ISUPK has been increasing in membership, and it's increasing very well because people are finally waking up, finally realizing that our oppressor is a devil, finally realizing that we're chosen of God and we are to do these commandments. You understand? But what about the rest? For the rest, the Lord said, I will send many fishers, saith the Lord, and they shall fish them. See, fish them. Okay. And after will I send many hunters, and they shall hunt them from every mountain and from every hill and out of the holes of the rocks. Out of the holes of the rocks. Who dwells in the clefts of the rocks? Esau does. We're going to come and dig them up out them holes. Understand? We're going to hunt them the same way they hunt, just like they hunted us. You understand? Verse 17, for mine eyes are upon all the ways, all their ways. They are not hid from my face, neither is their iniquity hid from my eyes. See, all the things you've done, that what you reap, you will sow. That's why it says that. All the things that you've done are being recorded by the angels. The angels go forth through this world, recording all of our deeds, every single living human being. The Lord's eyes is upon the face of the earth, man. His eyes are upon the oppressor. The oppressor is not getting away with what he think he is. So let him be proud, like he has always been that proud bastard. For he's going to fall low, and he will never rise again. Thus saith the Lord, never rise again. He will be destroyed in that lake of fire. He's going to be destroyed by thermonuclear destruction. America is going to burn at 1,000 degrees Fahrenheit. You understand? For its sins against the Lord and against the Lord's people. Okay, that's the future of this nation. Okay, make sure you don't be a part of that. Let's go down to verse 19. This is Jeremiah 16:19. O Lord, my strength and my fortress and my refuge in the day of affliction, the Gentiles shall come up unto thee from the ends of the earth. So we know we're speaking about all of the other nations other than God's children. All the nations other than Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. All those Gentiles shall come from the ends of the earth. And they shall say, surely our fathers have inherited lies, vanity, and the things wherein there is no profit. See, all those things that they took from us, all the jewelry, all the riches and treasures, that's still no profit. It's no profit because you don't have the Lord on your side. The Lord gave his commandments. He gave his law, statutes, and commandments to Moses. Moses got the law. Moses was a Levite. Okay. So if Moses was a Levite, that means his people are from Haiti, the one that just had that earthquake. Moses came from there. All right. The Lord gave him the law, statutes, and commandments. That's why the Levites became, that's also why the Levites became the priests back then. They were only tribe of priests in Israel. Of the 12 tribes of Israel, the Levites were the priests. That's why they call it Levitical law. Levi. Okay. These heathens say, surely we inherited lies from our father. And it says, vanity and things wherein there is no profit. No profit. You can't get no profit from that. What profit you gonna get? Overtaking a people, destroying a people, beating the people and killing people down like that. You know, the Lord is definitely not in charge of that. The Lord is definitely against that. And like I said, this is the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge under the commanding General Yohana. And I'm Priest Prophet Shadrach. This is the Friday Scripture Breakdown class in the High Desert. And with that, I'm going to say shalom.